Welcome back, Weather Kingdom. In this update, we are going to be taking a look at the tropics, and here it is. We are still tracking this tropical wave in the Caribbean, and likely to be chances have continued to increase quite a bit now, with the National Hurricane Center also increasing it. This is our kind of wave type deal. This is kind of a couple Kelvin wave. Why do we call it a couple Kelvin wave? We kind of two waves right next to each other, and these will combine into one storm somewhere in the Caribbean around here where I just circled. Let me go into yellow here, right in here, where I do think some development will be possible with this. How strong are questions that won't be probably answered for the next couple days at least. We'll have to wait until to see the environment that this Caribbean will have. But one thing is for sure, the water temperatures are extremely above average in the Caribbean with very low vertical wind shear. So when we be talking about all of this, this is the National Hurricane Center. And yes, we have two areas now since last update. I'm not really going to talk about the other one to the north. This is kind of with our lows that's been coming off the East Coast. And yes, we could be talking about a potential subtropical storm or maybe even a tropical storm. So potentially a 10-10 right now could continue to go up. We could be talking about another subtropical or tropical storm, and this will continue to add the names. This could be actually the 13th name of the season or 14th. So we are pretty much really close to average. This is the 16th. We had 3 storms. And I wouldn't be surprised they do. There's been some indications that this will develop. And what they are looking at is this actually tropical wave. And I do believe it probably will, as this will continue to tighten and move out into the Gulf Stream and get a warm core. Okay, so that is a very likely big thing there. And then when we take a look here back, we also have an area in the Caribbean, a now 1030 instead of a 020, so chances have continued to increase in the 48 hours and 7 days. So we're going to really have to watch this. Also, is there any other development possible in the Atlantic? Some of the models are hinting at maybe some more development in the future before the end of the season. So we could be squeezing out the last good activity in the Atlantic, maybe even into November. We're going to have to wait and watch. But now I want to take a look at some of the ensembles like I did yesterday, and we're going to go right into it. So these are the ensembles here of the European, and generally we are in the same boat that this will be getting stronger and stronger as it continues to move into the islands here. And some of them do have tropical storm, but we do see many in the Caribbean. Now we see a cluster that crashes into South America and then starts doing this turn. And then we got a few ensembles that turns it early towards Jamaica, Cuba, and the Haiti area, and something like this. So there's kind of a bit of a spread in the ensembles today, but we are getting a little bit more confident that development will be likely. This was 0Z of yesterday when we took a look of last night. And then this is 12Z. So a little bit less, though, but kind of more spread out. When we take a look at the GFS ensembles, generally we have 2 here. One that goes between Puerto Rico or makes landfall in Puerto Rico. And then we have generally one that kind of hits there and then starts turning. And then we have a few that crashes into here and does the Euro. And then we even have quite a lot into Jamaica and then do something like that. Those are all potential chances. But one thing for sure is the models continue to show development. This was a 0Z yesterday. So we have continued to add on the development in the ensembles. And then when we take a look at the European AI models, and let's just go, this is about 10 days out. But as we continue to all the way through, there it is. A lot of the ensembles. We got some of the tracks right into Haiti and Dominica, and then we have some into Jamaica in between Cuba, and then we have a good portion that goes between these and looks like it's heading right for Cuba, and even a few right in here. So that's the kind of gist that I'm getting out of the models today, that we still need to see how this evolves. And then when we take a look at the other European, this is the GENC. This is a little bit more of a worrying if you are in Florida. These ensembles, like, you got some into Jamaica and then out. You got some into central Cuba and then looks like the Bahamas. You got some that makes it like the year over here and then starts turning. And then you got some that goes right into Cuba. And then Florida like an Ian. So those are some little concerning ensembles on this particular year AI run of the ensembles. But we have to really watch. Also, another thing I will like to say is the European AI has trended with more activity. With this wave, it goes into the Caribbean, kind of starts moving north, and it actually goes about hits Haiti and Dominica near Puerto Rico, and then kind of stalls and then goes out. It's weak, but it's there. So that is something that we are really going to have to watch out here for. When we took a look at yesterday, there was nothing there. So the models continue to add that support, something we're really going to have to watch out for. So now when we take a look at the Euro, take this with a grain of salt. This is actually the 18Z, by the way. This is not in the full development, but we do see a low right in the central of the Caribbean. It's starting to get a little bit organized. All right. But when we take a look at the 12Z for this giving time, actually the 12Z had less development. So it continues to get more and more into the picture. It does see that this becomes a tropical storm, even a hurricane, and then stalls around there a little bit because of this strong cold front. A lot of cold air behind it, but it does become a very large, major hurricane. And take this with a grain of salt, but 12Z likes to show a very powerful hurricane heading right into the Caribbean, absolutely crushing Jamaica, Cuba, and potentially the Bahamas as a major catastrophic hurricane. Take this with a grain of salt. Also, something else I would like to mention here too. This is in that subtropics. This could become a subtropical storm. Maybe it even tries to do something strong. We'll have to see how that core is. But also some of the other models are trending in, further out, maybe another area near Europe. And then some more subtropical development, maybe something out in the central right here. Look at that. That actually has a little bit of a front. This wave right here becomes a little bit tropical, subtropical. And then we even see another one. So there is some signs of some subtropical activity. Also some northern main development region stuff. So the Atlantic is not done yet. It is still pushing out its last gasp of air before the season will come to a close, and we'll be talking more about winter weather and severe weather. So this is the GFS here on 18Z, and it does this weird thing. I think this is a little bit too far. It's been moving all over the place, but it has a hurricane hitting Puerto Rico and then becoming a major hurricane and kind of gets lifted out to sea. And then we continue. We do see another area in the Caribbean, also a subtropical low that develops up in here. So it is a little interesting that these models are showing some subtropical and some Caribbean development. We're really going to have to watch this and just make sure nothing gets out of control. I'm going to be here as much as I can and really tracking this. So this is the Canadian, by the way. Does like this to become a tropical storm before the islands, and then moves north into Dominica, and then kind of weakens, and then kind of gets stretched out thanks to a cold front and a very cold northeast. And then look at that, some more waves of the subtropics. So something to seriously watch that I'm going to be watching, and something that you guys should watch. Last thing I forget, we are taking a look at the water temperatures. This is the latest water temperatures, and generally the entire Caribbean is a waiting time bomb, especially in these areas where we're talking about 30 to 31 degrees Celsius, especially near Jamaica, Cuba, and even into the Bahamas. So something to seriously watch, and just giving you guys this look at the map. Pretty much wrap it up, you guys. Once again, another tropical outlook and discussion with the ensembles, the models. I'm not going to get into major detail. There's still a lot of spread in the models, but the chances have continued to increase. And also, as you guys remember, we have very, very warm waters, 30 plus degrees Celsius, and something to seriously watch.